maybe.
I'm not sure what's going on the Zelda chapter side.
Looks like BB-8 crash or something. Looks like we're going anyway. Okay. So,
I mean, they could restart the race. It's up to them, though.
yeah, it seems like he's not saying anything about it, so... So this is the Minish cap. If you haven't seen the 2 previous races so far, where do we start?
We'll start off. At least the first thing that you have to do is make a file, but you have to set the text to fast because that's gonna save like 2 minutes or something like that. It makes the game a lot faster. Especially when I used to practice this game, it was like a minute faster in the first temple. Before I even figured out there was faster text. So yeah, they just do that, and then they go through the intro cutscene, and basically you're just going to be guiding Zelda around the town, just trying to have fun.
I guess the first thing we should mention is text mashing in this game. It's a little weird. You hold B, which will speed the text up like incredibly fast. And instead of just the normal like hitting A or something to advance text, you use the D-pad control stick most of the time, which will all advance text for some reason.
Yeah, basically any button, holding B and then hitting any button, but I think L just advance the text box. So moving the C stick around, or not the C stick, the control stick is just the easiest way to put in a lot of inputs. So
Yeah, so if you're ever watching a stream of this with their mic on, you'll just get a lot of control stick spinning.
Yeah, and if you don't, then they're pretty bad at the game. That or they don't have a mic.
Or they're using a D-pad.
Yeah, Blue, that's a shot at you.
Yeah, the opening bit of this game isn't particularly exciting. Just a lot of movement, really, and text mashing. Now we got the shield. We'll use that like twice during the whole run.
Yeah. Here and Octo, because it's obviously a need for Octo, man.
Then sword.
So right here, this is the Deku shrub that's in your way. Like the only real use of your shield so far in the game. You just get him out of the way real quick. He was trying to talk to you really, but he just got dunked on. So, oh well. Sorry for him. And yeah, it looks like TheZeldaChapter is just a little bit behind because his emulator crashed. So he'll be a bit behind here. Not sure if if he'll be able to catch up or not. We'll see.
There are plenty of opportunities too throughout the whole run.
Yeah, and this part of the game is just you went through a ceremony because they're gonna give whoever the winner of a tournament was the Master Sword, and they're just showing it off to you because you're Zelda's friend or whatever. But then Body comes in and screws things up because he's Vadi, you know, does stuff.
I think Bonnie was the actual winner of it, but he's a
Oh.
bad guy, so
Yeah.
who knows the story
I mean,
of
I
this
haven't-
game? No one does.
I haven't played the English version of this since I was like 8, so.
Well, Mopey is. Maybe you'll be able to figure out the story now.
Ooh, wait, Mopey's on English?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well,
So it's gonna be really interesting route differences.
yeah.
Later on, there's a Japanese and European only glitch, so it's gonna be interesting to see.
So we'll actually be able to see the old route in this a little bit.
Yeah.
"43 seconds, 1 ink phase." Seems legit.
I expect to hear that noise a lot with Link rolling. I hope we get used to it.
So yeah, basically you're just right now sent on a mission to collect 4 elements and try to repair the sword because King's too lazy to hire anybody else.
Yes, right now we go into the Minish Woods to talk to the Minish because they're the ones who made it. And only kids can talk to them, so they sent us. Because why not? So here coming up, we're getting the introduction of Ezlo, your little partner guy throughout the whole game.
Yeah. It's like Navi, except for just slightly less annoying.
Just slightly.
Just slightly.
I don't know what a good Ezlo time is, so I don't know how good the battle is.
730 is like, I think the fastest anybody's ever gotten it. So anything
not too
around like 740 is or better is like pretty good.
So that's not too bad, especially on English.
Yeah. Yeah, the text being a lot slower. I would say he lost maybe 5 or 6 seconds around this point, so not too bad.
So now we're gonna become Minish.
Yeah.
It's not really that huge of a gimmick. You don't really see it too much.
Yeah, well, you don't see you are in Minish form a lot, but the gameplay doesn't revolve around it just because it makes you go into a dungeon and then your big size in reference to the dungeon.
Which we'll see coming up here. First dungeon. So here we can't understand the Minish, or Pikuri, as the humans call it, or Highlands call it. So now we have to go figure out a way to understand what they're saying. Everyone knows how to learn a new language, right? Just go find a little peanut Jabba nut thingy.
And that solve everything, dude.
And now you know the language fluently.
Yeah. So yeah, coincidentally enough, at least one of the Pikori actually speaks English, and it ends up being the librarian. So he just tells you to go get the Jabbernet so you can speak with the Elder and get permission to actually go into the dungeon and get the element.
Yeah, he tells us what all the elements are right in here. And the Earth element's just right around the corner, coincidentally. And now entering the first dungeon, Deepwood Shrine. That was a gold split by Mopey, that was pretty good. Here we're gonna be seeing a lot of Ezo text because it's the first dungeon, so he tells you a lot of stuff. But we won't be having that for too long.
Yeah, and the thing in this game is there's certain triggers for Ezo text to appear, and if you roll into them, it basically just the game says to finish a roll, so it starts from the beginning of a roll. So you end up wasting a second if you roll into them. So it's better to just walk into them because it saves like a half second over if you were to actually be able to roll into them. So don't roll into them. It's
Yeah,
bad.
I didn't know about that until like a few weeks ago.
Wait, what?
I did not know rolling into those wasted time.
Goodness.
I've been running this game for 4 years, guys.
So right now they're just working, or Mopey and ZeldaChapter is going to catch up in a little bit, but they're just working on getting some of the small keys, just getting around the dungeon, working on heading to the first mini boss to get the first item, the Gust Jar, just to, do the normal dungeon stuff. There's not going to be really any glitches throughout the first part of the game, or for the first half of the game, really, because the main item that's glitched in this game is only halfway into the run, so there's not really much we can do with the other items. So it's just going to be a lot of execution with movement.
You won't be seeing anything really spectacular until the third dungeon. That's where the exclusive glitches on Japanese and European. But after that, I don't think there's any other differences besides just text speed, really. So here we're entering the first mini-boss. We have to do the Matter Pillar. You have to slash his head, then his tail will turn to a heart and you just slash that.
Yeah,
You go ahead.
There, you go ahead.
No,
You go ahead.
When it turns red, there's a few frames where if you slash, you'll bounce back. And usually if you do that, you'll get 3 cycle, like Mopey just got 2 cycle, which is perfect. But a lot of times people start slashing too early and we'll get a 3 cycle. Such thing to be aware of.
Mopey almost actually had the 3 cycle on that first phase. He got bounced back a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you aren't fast enough, or if you do get bounced back like that, you'll 3 cycle, which is, I think it's like 15 seconds slow or something like that. So it's very often a reset. I mean, it should never happen because it's really not hard to do a 2 cycle.
And it's everyone's favorite really part of the game. It's everyone's favorite part of the game, Lily Pad.
Yeah. So mechanics of this are pretty garbage. So if you're if you don't have like a set routine or set movements that you usually do through these areas, it can be really annoying to control and navigate on the lily pad just because the physics are pretty crap. So you usually want to just practice a certain route and a certain amount of gusts in each direction, so you can never really get off track and just have pretty optimal movement. Because if you if you get off track, it just kind of train wrecks and you just lose a bunch of time. And normally you can access this room from earlier before you even fought the mini boss, but you can't actually get across without the lily pad. And the only other thing in this room is I believe it's the compass, so it's not really that useful.
I want to check the commentary sync real quick. The timers on both streams should be 2, 3, 4.
I might just refresh my stream real quick, because why not? Yeah, mine's on 17. There we go. Okay, I might have just... Yeah, mine's only like a second ahead of what you're counting out. So yeah, I should be fine now. So yeah, right here he's just gonna be grabbing the another 20 rupees. In the route we grab 40 rupees early on, and then we need another 60 rupees. So in total we need about 100. These first 40 you want to grab a bottle, and then you have to get a grip ring later. And after that you want to get more rupees later on to Mount Krenel, which is a little bit later after this dungeon. And let's see. During this part though, this beginning part, anywhere in the dungeon, if you end up managing to pick up 5 rupees before that 20 chest, you can just skip that and grab 15 rupees in a little spot right before you get to closer to the grip ring in the route, and it saves about 7 or 8 seconds depending on if you got 5 rupee, or if you just maybe picked up a couple of different rupees. So it's a handy little alternate route if you get some good RNG.
Yeah.
And the first boss here, you just basically have to use the gust jar on him and whittle down his foot and make him topple over. And when he's toppling over, you'll see him kind of sway side to side, and he'll kind of like lean on each side for a little bit. And whatever side he leans to first, you want to stay on that side of him, because if you stay on the other side, he'll sway side to side 5 times instead of 3. So it's obviously just better to have him do less movement and make the fight faster.
Yeah, it's real weird. Just a weird little RNG manipulation you can do that just works.
There is also a little bit of, and it's just based on RNG. I don't know if any of the tasks or anything really know what changes it, but when you're hitting the boss, he does sometimes take more or less hits on his, like he'll just, even if all his damage is done for that phase, he'll still be able to take hits or not, and it doesn't really change anything by the amount of phases you have, but it just wastes some time sometimes. So it's like, I think it goes between 5 or 9 hits, which overall might be like 2 or 3 seconds. So usually you just want to try to get it as close to 5 hits on each phase. And now that we got the first element, we're gonna head up to Mount Krenel and go searching for the second element and get some items along the way.
The first time we get is the bombs, which is like immediately after we leave here.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if... Actually, we'll see here in a second if he does it or not. But, well, I'll say if he does it or not.
Bombs are really useful
Okay,
in this
yeah.
game.
He did it actually. So right there, when you placed the bomb, he rolled, and you saw the bomb pop up. What happens is, for some reason in this game, I'm not sure why, but when you pick up a bomb, it detonates faster. So there is a way to actually roll and lift the bomb at the same time. So it ends up, you see the bomb kind of pop up, but you'll roll through it, and it counts as picking up. So you pick it up on the earliest frame, and then basically detonates faster. So it saves usually about a half a second each time you get one of those, which is pretty neat little time saver.
There's another way to save time on the bomb throws. I don't know if you mentioned it. I wasn't. That's probably one paying close attention. If you pick up a bomb and throw it on the first frame you pick it, you can throw it. For some reason, that makes it blow up faster.
Yeah. And there are kinstones in this game which just get you different little unlocks or whatever. You just fuse with different people, and that's the first one in the game. But you can actually just save and quit to skip it, because you don't actually really want to do it because it just wastes a lot of time. It's like 10 seconds faster or something like that to skip it. I'm not exactly sure. But you don't skip it 100% because it's actually impossible to get 100% after that. Because that counts.
You can fuse with him later.
You can?
Yeah, he's in the cafe.
Dude, Legrand lied to me.
If you do fuse with him, though, there's a different little time save you can do there. It's a glitch that we'll also see a little while later. By a little while, I mean at the very end of the run, where you can just walk around during cutscenes. If you activate a text box the moment the cutscene starts, you can just walk around during the cutscene, and you can do that right there. If you fuse with them, that is.
Yeah, so this will be the first item we'll be picking up with the rupees here, which is the bottle. It's usually, we don't really use it that much, just to put out fire on a couple things, pick up some of the stuff on Mount Crennel here, but it's really only, besides that, just useful for fairies, for safety. Yeah, if we're picking up, oh, we missed over there, but you just be picking up water here, just to grow this plant, or whatever. There's some water and a little bit, the green water, which you need. You can't just pick up original or normal water and proceed on later in this part, so we have to grab this. And conveniently enough, there's 20 rupees also here that we can pick up without even having to climb that vine, so we'll get that on. He'll be getting that, or not on his way out. Most people pick that up on the way out, leaving that area, but either way.
There'll be 2 more sets of rupees we get a little bit later on. And then we'll be going rupees for the rest of the round.
Mm-hmm. Actually, now that I think about that, it's 120 rupees, I think, now that we need. I miscounted. So yeah, he'll be just picking up the Mount Crennel water here, the spring water, and heading to the next area so we can get the grip ring, which just will allow him to climb up the mountain. Yeah, you missed the roll up there. It's oddly enough, not a lot of us really know why, but I mean, it's the timing for the rolls in different directions, but rolling down usually seems to be the easiest way to roll it for most people, so.
It's a really strange glitch.
Yeah. Totally.
So coming up on Mopey's stream, we'll turn Minish here, and have to go into this little path, pick up the seed, and throw it in the hole, and then we'll use that green wand we got earlier. This
So
part of
oddly-
the... Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just say, oddly enough, you can pick up the seat, which is like 20 times your size right now, and lift it wherever you want. But later
Yeah.
on, you can't push basically a bookshelf the same size or a pot that's about the same size without the grip ring, which is kind of a weird.
Yeah, I never noticed that, really.
Yeah.
The thing in that path we go in is those pestos can be a real big pain if they want to you. Because if they hit you, you drop the C, and they'll just combo you over and over and over again. So you have to pause and take out a sword and kill them, and then it just wastes a lot of time.
This right here is like the only little trick that skips about a minute, I think. It skips like 2 rooms or something like that, rather than having to bomb the wall right where that bridge leads to. So it's just a bad placement of the mushroom and just flawed coding.
I think
They
that's the
didn't really
only.
expect.
I think it's the only mushroom you can do that with.
Well, there was one that I was trying to do in the water temple to actually skip flippers, but it wasn't close enough, sadly.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other mushroom in the game that lets you do that. Especially not one that's useful.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mopey just got the grip ring. And now he'll be climbing up a very scary wall for anyone who's played this game or ran this game. A bunch of rocks be falling down. It's completely random where they fall, and a lot of people have died to this wall. A lot of people.
Half a heart is quite a bit. Sometimes like right there, the rock will bounce like almost right over you, and you get lucky. But sometimes you can be going up this climb with a heart, and you'll just get destroyed.
Yeah. This is probably one of the most scary parts around this whole section.
Yeah, this pesto, I swear, or the pea hat there. I feel like the RNG for it 2 years ago, like for everybody, was pretty bad, but like it changed on a global scale. For some reason, it never hits you anymore. That one used to be awful.
That's what's funny is that's the exact opposite for me. He never hit me for the longest time. Last year, he's hit me every single time. It's really annoying.
Yeah,
He
I
used
mean,
to
but
never
then
hit
again,
me.
it's the certain pattern that most people roll up there. I'm pretty sure it's what causes that. So
Because when he usually will attack you, but for some reason, if you grab a hold of the mushroom, he'll just act like you're not there. But for some reason, the what they call Tektite will still attack you. So, yeah, we're just rolling a bunch of boulders. It's the kind of slow part of the run.
yeah, it's actually, the next dungeon after the fire temple here will actually be not too bad. It's actually going to be decently interesting because there'll be some tricks in it. But yeah, up until that point, it's not going to be super exciting. But we'll try our best to make it exciting with commentary. You know, just
Yeah,
hype
that's the
everything
point.
up.
That's the point.
That's what we're here for.
So coming up now is he's got to throw a bomb past this bridge to form the bridge. But after he passes the bridge, he's gonna get one of the last rupees he needs, which is a 20 rupee, which is
Yeah,
always gonna be in this pot.
Yeah, there's only one more that you have to pick up, which is in the dungeon later. I'm not exactly sure the time difference. I think I tested and it's like 2 seconds slower, depending on consistency with the rollerbites in the room where the chest is. But you can skip that chest and get a 100 rupee chest at the very end of the dungeon, which equates the same thing instead of getting the 2 chests. but it's like I said, with the consistency of the rollabites in the room where you normally get the rupees, it can be sometimes you could have the right RNG to do it or not, but it's usually not faster, so nobody really ever goes for it.
The 100 rupee that you get in dungeons, the one we used to get, but now we get the 50 rupee earlier on.
Yeah.
So coming up now, we're giving the sword, the broken sword, to the, I forgot his name, Malari. What's his name? I can't remember.
Yeah, Malari.
And he's gonna
Dude,
fix it.
I know like all their names.
He's gonna fix it, and then we're gonna enter the dungeon while he's fixing it.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it looks like Mopey will be using sword strats in this room. What some people, there's usually two different strats that people go for in that room. Is people will either go into that room with bombs, or they'll go into that room with their sword and shield equipped, which are both equally fast. That just depends on RNG, really.
Yeah.
So
if you go in it with a sword and shield, you'll be already prepared for this room. The room after, I could say.
yeah. But if you get bad RNG with the bombs, you'll waste a little bit of time, but it's usually not too bad.
So here we're just gonna be riding a minecart. There's a lot of minecarts in this dungeon.
Quick little tip there too: if you hold up while jumping out of the minecart, you'll advance one pixel. So, time saver right there.
I didn't know that either.
I am the task, dude. Yeah, if you actually get decent RNG in that room, you can actually get three of the Helmosaurs to charge down at the same time, and you can just kill them all at once, and then just the fourth one will be starting up his movement pattern again right after you kill those, and it's usually a pretty fast room if you get good RNG, but it just depends.
Yeah, it just depends. Sometimes you only get one, sometimes you'll get three. Most of the time, you'll get like two. So coming up is the final bit of rupees we're gonna get in the whole run.
Yeah, so this is the room where you get that rupee, and this is with these roll bites you have to get one of them into the hole to actually get it into the chest. So depending on where they are, you can get pretty bad RNG, and it would technically have been faster to get the other chest and not have gotten the 20 rupees earlier, but there's no way to know, so it's really just up to you whether or not you get the 20 and 50 or the 100. ZeldaChapter getting a little bit of bad RNG with the sword and shield strat there. Choking it up a little bit. Some bombs there. Just moving along there. MopeyJoe's just heading over to the mini boss here. There's gonna be a room full of spiny chews, and there used to be an old bomb strat for this, but we use just spin slash, 2 spin slashes actually. And actually, yeah, Mopey used the old easy setup there. It lines up the the pixel perfectly. You can manually do it, or you can just do it that way. Messed up a little bit, but that's basically how you want the fight to go, is where you kill the first 3 on the left, and then you want to kill the one on the top after that, and then kill the 4 with a spin slash. But getting the last one wasn't too bad.
It's a better fight than I usually get. I always mess up the second spin slash.
Yeah, not a lot of people still use that that Gust Jar setup, so
now we got the Kenpachi, which the Kenpachi lets you like flip objects. So we need to flip these mine carts to get into them. We'll be seeing a lot of flipping of lava platforms to walk on them.
So yeah, this little section here that Mopey's in, just usually just damage boost through it, because it's pretty slow to wait for them to back all the way up and go through that little section the right way.
There are ways to like minimize the damage if you are really low on hearts, but usually just go through it like it's nothing. So now this room can be really good or really bad depending on the RNG of the enemies.
Mopey got a little bit trolled there and tried to pick up the Rollabite on the top of the other one there and ended up rolling into the hole again, so it can be a bit screwy there, but if you get some good RNG you don't have to worry too much. But that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, you just push the switch and then hit it. I don't know why you can't just face up a little bit. So here coming up is going to be a set of 5 lava platforms that we got to walk across. There is a way to do it fast. You can skip a cycle, but it's pretty precise sometimes and people mess it up a lot.
Yeah, Mopey missed it there. He usually don't need to roll there, but I guess that's what he went for.
Yeah, I used to roll. I stopped doing that because I realized it was really risky.
Yeah, Mopey won't be able to make the fast cycle, but that doesn't really matter, just as long as you get through it. But yeah, if you walk across those platforms kind of at an angle, you can just walk. You can basically skip having to wait a whole cycle. And we used to do it twice because it seemed faster, but actually based on the cycles, it actually didn't save any time, so we just do one to keep consistency. Okay, Zelda chapter doing the same order for that fight, but getting a little bit better RNG on the last guy there, so he's still keeping it up in there. So yeah, Mopey right here, he's gonna be just getting to the boss room. The chest at the very bottom of the screen right there is actually the 100 rupee chest, so it's not, that's the one that you can get as backup if you do forget the one earlier in the dungeon. But yeah, it's really not too much slower to get that one if you wanted to.
So now we're gonna get the boss key in, into the box. You actually don't need to hit 2 of those tornadoes. You can only hit 1 and still make it. I don't really know which is faster.
Actually, skipping the tornado at the very end there doesn't even save any time. It just, you can still get to that platform early. Like, you get it to that platform a lot faster skipping the tornado, but it doesn't save any time overall because the platform is still on a cycle.
Also,
It's
you
just
notice on
fun
the
to do.
walls, If you notice on the walls of the dungeon, there are little Gleeroks on the dungeons. Gleerok is this boss.
Yeah, so this boss is just, it's pretty simple. You just gotta dodge the fire and shoot him in the back with the cane of the Pachi or whatever. So you just kind of have to manipulate him around and hit him in the back. But the only real manipulation on this fight is the third phase. Well, on the second phase here, you'll shoot a bit of fire and then kind of start attacking you and whatnot, and you just gotta do the thing again. But on the third phase, you'll shoot fire I think on like 3 full sides, which can be quite a bit of waste of time, especially if he keeps going through his invulnerability. And if he turns back into the fire where his head is, you'll have to basically roll through the fire and have to damage boost your way through the fire and go really slow to try to get to his head to hit his back. But if you, for some reason, if you slash the fire kind of from below when he's spreading out the flames, it doesn't, he just stops shooting the flames, like only on one side, so you can just stop him early and just not have to deal with some wonky RNG.
So yeah, Mopey beat the boss. So he's gonna be just getting the fire element and leaving and getting a sword from Alari, and then gonna do something we're gonna do a lot in this run, which is infuse the sword with the elements that we get from these dungeons. It looks like the Zelda chapter didn't go for the cycle skip on the platforms.
Yeah, it really only saves like 4 seconds or something like that, so you really don't have to. If you don't want to, it's not going to kill your run or anything.
Yeah, it's really not that huge of a thing, and if you fail, you lose a lot of time.
Yeah, you lose like 20 seconds or something. It's pretty harsh.
So now Mopey's just gonna be leaving Mount Colonel, just going back down the mountainside. It's way easier to go down than it is to go up.
Yeah. You pretty much scaled down in about 30 seconds or so. And it took about, what, 7-8 minutes to go all the way up.
Yeah, very scary 7-8 minutes.
Yeah, especially the boulder climb and anything after that before you actually get to the little Minish town there, or the little forge area, because there's a lot of enemies, especially if you only have a heart that can just kind of jump out of nowhere and hit you. So
if you notice,
it's a bit scary.
Mopey picked up a bottle of water. We're gonna be using that pretty later on in the run, not until after the next dungeon. But we did. There's a purpose for that. We're gonna use that later.
Yeah, and he also picked up the wind crest there, which is pretty much the only wind crest we'll be using in the game, except for the one that it gives you when you actually get the ocarina. So, yeah, we'll be using that a lot to optimize routing across the overworld. So it's definitely a really good time saver to pick that up. If you don't pick it up, you're gonna waste a lot of time. Yeah, now that the sword's also fixed, you'll be able to fuse the elements into it and gain some power back into the Force Sword.
The Zelda chapter got a ton of hearts from those flames.
Yeah, those flames have a really, really high spawn rate for hearts. So yeah, I think that was the third phase. The third phase is just pretty wonky in general. Like you can get them to stop shooting flames in a lot of different ways, but it's just weird. Gleerok's not a hard boss at all, so he should never be a problem. The only problem that you might have is him turning into your cane shot and blocking it, but that's really the only difficulty.
And if you hit him with your Kanpachi and then get hit by his fireball, that can pretty much
Yeah,
always lose you their 3 cycle.
Yeah, that can usually destroy your cycle because you're forced to run around and you're unable to act. And the only way to really cancel it is mash movement as fast as you can to get out of it quickly. So
I think most people just jump to the lava. I don't know which was faster.
it depends really, but yeah, jumping the lava will also stop it. Yeah, Mopey there got the split basically to you can split yourself and it helps with just a couple puzzles and just progressing further through the game. It's not really useful for anything else besides just dungeon stuff. Yeah, and there's a quick kill we can do there where you can get them all to, or get them both to basically stand on the same spot there, and you can kill them both at the same time. But Mopey didn't really choke it out too much, so this wasn't too bad. But that's basically how that little skirmish looks right there.
Yeah, we have a little bit of cutscene here, but unlike the games, you have to be on point in your cutscenes too, because you have to text mash. So you really never get any breaks during this run.
Yeah,
The only break you get is right at the end of the run.
yeah.
It's 2 hours of constant just focusing and then a little break.
Yeah, it's a nice little short 45 seconds to run to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah. I usually tell people to get their snacks while they can. So very quickly we're going to be using our split right after we got it to get past this little block in the cave we got the bottle at, which will get us a little bit farther. We'll see a cutscene, another cutscene afterwards.
Yeah, this section kind of just explains a little bit more the story of the game and what's kind of going on, what happened, and why Ezlo was that cutscene earlier was why Ezlo was turned into a hat and what Vadi was doing. So,
and this cutscene shows Vadi took over the king, and now I think he orders them to go look for the light force or something. I can't remember what the whole thing was.
It was, and basically just don't let anybody in the castle and everything's off limits, and they're kind of confused and whatnot. But king's orders are king's orders.
Yeah.
So right there, Mopey did not slash the sign, which is a good sign of a good run.
Yeah.
Good job to him. If you slash that sign, you have to basically walk all the way off the screen to the right, and go back and read the sign, or go all the way up into the Caster Wilds and trigger a cutscene there early. Basically, because you have to trigger one of those to progress with this Pegasus Boots quest to get the Pegasus Boots so you can speed run finally.
Yeah, I don't really know why looking at the sign gives you the flag to get the Pegasus Boots. It really makes no sense.
I think it's just because you're supposed to discover the Caster Wilds and figure out, oh, you got to get something to progress, and it mentions the Caster Wilds is over there, so that's probably the only reason why. But it really doesn't make sense either way. So yeah, right now we're just trying to wake up the shoe shopkeeper because he's sleeping on the job, which he shouldn't be. And we're gonna go get the wake up shroom to really wake him up. And that's the reason why we need the other 60 rupees, is because it costs 60 rupees to get the wake up shroom. When that's the only amount of rupees we need for the rest of the run, so you won't be seeing any purposeful collection of rupees anymore.
Yeah. But Opie got every type of rupee you can get now, so even if he picks up one, he's not gonna lose any time.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, unlike some other Zelda games, it's pretty bad to pick up a lot of items, especially. But when you pick up all the rupees, it's only like if you pick up all the different kinds of rupees, it's only like a second or two lost. But if you pick up all the different items, it's like 4 maybe. So it really doesn't make that much of a difference in a 2-hour run like this. But some other Zelda games, like Link Between Worlds, picking up an item takes like 5 seconds per item, and it's super annoying because there's quite a bit of little gimmicky items that you can pick up for different crafting things, I believe.
Yeah, I think Skyward Sword's the same way. I think every time you save and quit, you get a message for picking items up, which is even more annoying. So a lot of things you can just randomly pick up in that game. So here he got the wake up shrill. And then I just head back to the Pegasus Boots guy and he'll wake up and give you the Pegasus Boots.
Yeah, he's just running into the octos there for RNG manipulation. It's for the Dark Nuts later on, and during this during the Caster Wilds here and in the next dungeon coming up, because there's 2 fights that you can get some good RNG on and save a few seconds.
So yeah, now we got the Pegasus Boots, so now we're just gonna head to Castle Wilds. And here in Castle Wilds, it's gonna be an interesting thing. We're gonna go like all over the place to find the 3 kinstone pieces to fuse with these statues to progress.
Yeah.
There aren't many. Go ahead.
For some, especially newer players, it can be a lot to try to remember. Especially like the book quest. There's like this, and the book quest can just be really confusing because you're going all over the place, and you might not even remember the order half the time. But once you get it down, it's not too bad. But yeah, we're just going here to get 3 different kinstones so we can progress further.
Yeah, you're not gonna be seeing too many kinstone fusions. I think there's gonna be 3 here and just 1 later on we're gonna do.
Yeah, those are the only, or at least from a speedrun standpoint, those are the only required ones.
Yeah, we skip 6 others that require to continue, but in this game we can skip those in speedrun.
Yeah. And also we'll be getting the bow here during the middle of this because we'll need it to actually get the other couple. And the fight for this can be pretty trolly sometimes because there's 5 enemies that basically the Moldorms, and they dash around really fast all over the room. But if you can get them to clump up pretty well, you can save some time. But yeah, like right there, that one right there is just kind of all over the place. So it wasn't too bad, but you can get some bad RNG sometimes where you only kill like 1 at a time.
Yeah.
Just waste a bunch of time.
And you save and quits afterwards because it's faster than leaving back through the lily pad.
Yeah, those lily pad sections, there's a lot of them, or not a lot of them, but pretty much all of them we save and quit to go back through them because they're really slow to go through.
I think that save and quit was found relatively recently, like last year or 2.
Yeah, that was around when I started, so that was maybe 2 years ago max.
Basically, any point where you can skip doing a lily pad section, the better.
Yeah. Anything that has lily pads is bad.
That's one reason why we need the boats to hit those little eye statue guys.
Yeah, luckily, I mean, I don't know if we mentioned it earlier, but there are, I don't know how many frames it is, but there's quite a few frames on your roll where you're invulnerable, so you can just roll through the enemies like that and just skip having to actually kill them or wait for them to get out of the way. So it's pretty handy, especially in Caster Wilds specifically, because there's a lot of them that you kind of activate them from their standing state and then just kind of skip past them. And this is the last Kinstone here, and then we'll head over and start fusing them and proceed on.
If you enjoy fusing Kinstones, you better stay with this, because this is one of the only times you're gonna see it.
These are like actually the fastest Kinstone animations, and these take quite a while themselves.
Yeah.
The other ones take almost, or at least after the little fusing part, the actual animation of what they're doing takes like twice or 3 times as long. So it's it's really bad to actually fuse Kinstones.
Yeah, we're only gonna do one regular Kinstone fusion, one that's not required, and that will let us do a really big skip later on the run.
Yeah. So yeah, these Armos here Mopey's gonna be doing, or both of them really will be doing the kind of the same thing they did with the Igors, and they're just gonna activate them and just roll through them because it's way faster than just fighting them. So they'll just be going fast, hopefully.
Yeah, this section is a lot of just train Minish, train them on, and then going back and just going through them.
So yeah, earlier the climb for Mount Krenel and this section are usually the two most dangerous kind of overworld sections of the game, because they're really annoying to traverse, and you usually end up pretty low on hearts by the time you get to the dungeon. So usually we try to take these safe, or especially in this area, if you die at the very end, you go all the way back to where those 3 statues you fused with, and if you haven't pushed those rocks, you have to activate the Armos again and do all the puzzle stuff, and it's really tedious. So
yeah, if you're ever
it can be
doing
pretty
this section, just ward you're gonna die, just always push those rocks.
Yeah.
Or time off to a minimum.
If you want to, if you think you're gonna die, you could just kill yourself at the beginning of that area and just respawn. You won't really have to waste much time. At least in a marathon setting, it's usually the safer thing to do.
There's also a heart piece that you can get right before entering this part, if you're really, really worried not enough to where you can easily kill yourself. You can always just get that heart piece, which will fully heal you. So now Mopey's entering the 3rd dungeon. This is gonna be interesting because I don't remember the US route for this very well.
Yeah, well, the US route, the difference between the English and the Japanese route is they're going to be doing the same thing with this first part here, but normally after this room, they go through the middle and then go up the left side of the middle area and get the Molmits, and then be able to use portal items, which is the glitch that's done to be able to skip 3 minutes of the dungeon. But because Mopey's not on Japanese, we'll actually get to see what the rest of the dungeon looks like, and hopefully ZeldaChapter will actually be able to catch up a little bit.
It looks like Mopey didn't get the little double switch trick where normally it's supposed to be one farther apart to that skull you can get rid of that he didn't get rid of. But if you're just one less, you can walk from one to the other, and it will still activate both.
Yeah, I have no idea how it works, but it does, so don't really question it too much.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't work. It's happened to me before, and I don't know why it doesn't. Usually I'm just safe. I don't immediately get rid of my clones. I make sure it's actually happened before I get rid of them.
So yeah, so starting right here, this is where MopeyJoe and ZeldaChapter's routes are going to differ a little bit in the dungeon. MopeyJoe is going to go up this left side and have to get the key from this side of the dungeon, which is a little bit tedious and kind of annoying, but I mean, what can you do? You don't you don't have the right version. You can't really go much faster than this.
Yeah. But he's still doing pretty well for being on the English version,
Yeah.
the US version. And MopeyJoe got a pretty good fight on those Stalfos, what they called.
Yeah, the Stalfos. There is a different way to do that room. You can or at least a strat I originally had started doing right before the new trick had been found on Japanese and the European version, but it was obviously unused after the new trick had been found. But basically, you just pick up a bomb when you go into that room and then hold it over your head and just let it blow up and kill them. So it's not too bad. And right here, you can actually just kind of clip through this. You have a little bit of time before when you walk into things with your clones before they actually break, so you can actually just kind of walk over the corner of that without having to worry too much.
And an interesting thing about this lever here is it's never happened to me before, but I've heard it's happened to other people. You can actually pull the lever all the way out and actually walk off the edge into the pit before the key spawns. And so you have to go through that all over again if you are too fast on that. I don't know how, it's never happened to me before.
So now that Mopey has the both the keys, he's gonna be doing both sides of the dungeon here. He's gonna do the right side or the left side first here to get the moments, but then he's gonna have to actually get the big key on the right side of this middle area.
Yeah, and the right side of this area is really scary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we skip it now because it's always just like one of the scariest parts of the run.
And looking at this too, ZeldaChapter and MopeyJoe might actually be tied after. If ZeldaChapter actually goes for the skip, they might be. They might actually end up tying the or getting on a very similar pace. So this could be interesting.
And yeah, MopeyJoe got a really optimal fight against that Dark Nut. That's how it's supposed to go usually to get good RNG.
Yeah, you wanna have him charge at you because then he puts himself against the wall, which allows for you to just combo him.
And it's just an interesting fact. The cave where the moments are, on the Japanese European version, for some reason those skulls aren't there. I guess the Nintendo of America thought people wouldn't know to bomb that wall without the skulls. Or something.
So yeah, MopeyJoe's also gonna have to do this right side, like I was saying. So this side's actually kind of the annoying, slow side. So
Yeah, the bow kills the 4 masses in one hit. So you'll be seeing them do that a lot because it's a little bit faster, I guess, and it's way safer. So if you get grabbed by them, you go back to the beginning of the dungeon.
yeah, if you miss a slash on a floor master, it's a big waste of time because you'll get grabbed immediately.
And it's really easy to miss one of those. And if you saw MopeyJoe open that door, locked door, You go back, then turn Minish and go all the way through there. You have to go through that door as Minish. A lot of times people would forget to unlock that door, and it's a really sad moment when they do.
Yeah. Zelda chapter getting good RNG on that Dark Nut too, so that's pretty good. MopeyJoe's coming up on the big key here, just has to get into this room, get a small key, and then go over to the big key. And Zelda chapter's coming up on the moment, and then he's going to be able to head over back to a previous room and be able to skip the boss key because he's on Japanese here, so we'll watch his side a little bit and see if he gets that. And also, the difference between these routes is where you pick up a kinstone. In the Japanese route, you pick up a kinstone on this climb here. After we found this, we went through like some weird testing and RNG manipulated for the kinstone, but you can just pick it up right here. I ended up finding this one day bored while I was grounded too. I was grounded, and the only thing I had was Minish Cap on my Game Boy, so I just sat there goofing around.
So I guess we can explain this glitch coming up on the Zelda chapters screen.
And right there, actually, Mopey got grabbed by the floor master, but that was on purpose to get back to the dungeon.
Yeah.
He has the big key. So actually, yeah, they're pretty much tired if Zelda chapter gets this first try. Oh no, you got the slow animation. So if you end up holding, if you hold right too early during that trick, you end up getting a really slow animation during that, which is a little unfortunate for Zelda chapter, but okay, it looks like he has it. He just needs to get the right frame. Lagging a little bit on his end, but
yeah,
hopefully he got it. Oh no, it looks like you missed it. But basically, you end up in a different spot, but on the right, an upper height value. Just like, let's see. So yeah, he's actually on MopeyJoe's side. He's fighting us all.
Yeah, we should explain this fight. You've
Yeah.
probably seen it a lot in other Nintendo games before.
Yeah,
You
it's
shoot
Andros
both of his-
actually.
Yeah, you shoot both of his hands, then he'll fall down. You turn Minish. You go inside his head, and then you attack the pillar that's glowing.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. No, not again, dude. We did that last race. My headset turned off for a second, and turned back on its own, so it makes a loud beat. I'm sorry.
And the
It just
second,
does it.
the second and third time he goes into Mazal's head, there's a bunch of walls he has to claw through.
Dude.
I think people like that.
No. Yeah. When you're in his head, you wanna try to get the. You don't have to dig all the way to each pillar in his head where the little weak spot is, so you can actually see the little indicator on the ground and actually hit it from like the kind of the easiest spot to hit. So it's not a lot of time to like go all the way there, and depending on what pillar you got the last time, you can't get that one again, so you can just
Yeah, you can just skip that one if you remember which one it was.
yeah, and reroute your room to make that one the last one, so you don't have to check that one.
It won't be the same pillar twice in a row.
Yeah.
So now, MopeyJoe beat him, so he's now gonna get the most broken item in the game, the ocarina. So at the end of this dungeon, we don't get an element, we get the ocarina, which will let us travel to those different wind quests. The one we got in Hyrule Town, and another one that's automatic that we always get that you have to go to. And this is the most broken item in the game. We'll be doing a lot of skips with this.
Okay, so I guess it looks like Zelda Chapter's stream actually went down
Yeah.
because because I just checked his actual stream page and it looks like it's down. So, well, hopefully he'll have it back on in a little bit.
If you notice on MopeyJoe's stream, he went to the Wind Crest that we didn't unlock. It was already unlocked in the Lake Hylia. You have to go there to talk to the Minish there to start the book quest.
Yeah, that's the only reason why we even go to that crest in the first place. And developers actually made that one already opened.
It beeped again.
Hmm?
Your thing beeped again.
It did?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear. I'm sorry.
You turn a little robot afterwards too. Be good now. So yeah, MopeyJoe just went to that library to talk to the Minish, which will let you start the book quest basically, officially. So here's another difference between US and Japanese. And you didn't get the Red Kinstone Fortress of Winds because it's out of the way on the US version. So instead we get it here during Hyrule Town. There's a little cave here that has the right Red Kinstone. Before this cave, and before the modern one we get now, we used to get one that was basically in the exact same spot. It's above the school right next to the library, like just north of that cave. But we found out that one's faster.
Yeah, dude, Wi-Fi headset. It's plugged in, charging, but sometimes it does that. It usually doesn't really do that ever, but it happens sometimes.
It'll wake everyone up. Make sure no one's sleeping.
Yeah. if you're not awake and you're sleeping like I was last commentary, it'll wake you up.
So coming up just shortly on MopeyJoe's stream, we're gonna be seeing the first glitch you'll do on the US version, and the first Ocarina glitch of the run.
Technically, we didn't get to see the glitch on ZeldaChapter stream because it froze right before I might have gotten it.
Yeah.
But so for English, this will be the first glitch.
So the Ocarina glitch is the glitch you'll be seeing basically exclusively for the rest of the run.
Yeah, this is kind of for this little part. It's actually like one glitch, which he did get, and now he just has to line up pixels to get a weird screen transition and go to all these Minish areas are actually kind of on one overworld map by themselves. They're kind of separate, and if you're able to go over that board at like a certain different pixel areas, you can get over the screen transition and go to that specific room where one of the library books is, and get that book early and make the routing a little bit faster. But if you do it wrong, you'll actually just be stuck in the wall and you can't move. So you have to soft reset.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to save first.
Yeah, we'll save it.
Because if you don't save, then you end up
on US only, you end up.
Yeah, and on US you end up all the way back at the beginning of the game. So
and
the first save and quit during the Kinstone fusion. So good thing he didn't soft lock.
Yeah. On Japanese and European, you'll start back before the portal items to skip the boss key and Fortress of Winds. So here we're doing the only not required Kinstone fusion. Normally
but it saves a lot of time.
Yeah, it saves like 10-20 minutes, I think.
It's like 10 minutes, I think. Atraz always thought it was like a shit ton of time. He was like, dude, it's like 30 minutes. And then somebody like did all the testing and only saved like 15 or 10 minutes. So he was a little bit salty about that.
Normally that Kinstone fusion activates a portal which takes you just before the 5th dungeon. And that's usually used to get the light arrows. You go there, help this old man. When you get there normally, you'll be able to get the light arrows. But we're gonna use it to skip directly to the 5th dungeon without having to do it normally, which will save a lot of time.
And actually, most people don't know, but during the these Minish sections, if you walk at an angle, it's faster than rolling. If you have to go in 2 different directions, it's actually faster to just walk at an angle for some reason. The pixel movement, or the amount of pixels you move is faster, so little tip there.
I didn't know that.
I only knew that when Quo and Tampa started the task, so I didn't really know that till like a couple months ago.
I should probably study the TAS.
You should become the task.
We should stream the TAS on one of these streams at one point. Trick everybody. So coming up now is another mini boss against 4 of those blue roller bits or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the Moldorms. No, not Moldorms. No, I don't know.
I think roller bits are the ones
Mulldozers. That's what they're called.
Mulldozers, yes. This will get us the grip ring. Not the grip ring, the power bracelets. Which will let us do very little, really. It's possible to almost skip them, but there's one point where we cannot skip them. We have to use them. That's really annoying. But coming up now, we're going to use it to push a bookshelf that will let us climb up a wall. And later on, we're going to use it to push pots as Minish.
Yeah, and that's like we were explaining earlier, that it's kind of inconsistent with the game, where it's like we picked up that seed earlier that was roughly the same size as the pots in this game, and you can't manage to push the pots. So
yeah,
it's a little dumb. And it's only required in like 1 room, I think, total. You could actually, like, if you did other things, you can actually skip all the other rooms, I believe, except for 1 room.
Interesting thing to note here. We went through that Molmitz cave to get here to this house. It's actually possible to get an Ocarina glitch in Lake Hylia to skip that whole section, but don't know if we mentioned this, Ocarina glitch is a frame perfect trick, so you have to do it. It's hold up 1 frame, hold up and the Ocarina button 1 frame, and then let go at the same time to do it. So it's a 1 frame trick, and it requires another frame perfect trick.
But that frame perfect trick, the Ocarina glitch usually isn't that hard because it's just timing. You just kind of press 2 buttons basically at the same time, which isn't too hard once you kind of figure out the timing and your muscle memory and whatnot. But the frame perfect trick before that is based on you actually hitting the right frame, and actually you want to place down a bomb and walk into a door and have the bomb kill you as you're opening the door, so that the bomb or the game leaves the door in the open state and acts as a screen transition, kind of like the stairs that you can get Ocarina glitch off of, and then have a fairy revive you while you're doing that, and then you can Ocarina glitch off of it. But I don't know how much time it actually saves. I don't even think it saves.
It doesn't actually save any time. It was done in the old TAS.
Yeah, it was done in the old TAS. Ring, ring, ring. But using that method is also a way to actually skip this whole quest and get into the watermelon temple of droplets and actually get into the dungeon. But there's no way to progress to the dungeon, so sadly we don't do that. Actually, we've tried a lot of different things to get through different parts of the dungeon to do whatever, but oh well. Does that really save time, Quell? I didn't think it saved time. So yeah, this fight right here these are considered like the dumbest enemies for RNG, or just not RNG, but really just to do the rooms fast, because they're usually the rooms that they spawn in. They're pretty spread out. You can bonk off of them, and it's just there's no really consistent way to do them fast. So you just have to roll with the RNG and hope to get good RNG. But they got the what is it? Yeah, the flippers. They got the flippers there. So MopeyJoe's gonna head over to the water element and start the dungeon here. See, so Mopey's just getting this one small key. We're actually going to be skipping the big key in this dungeon, which is another BK skip, but it's not that big. It only skips saving. Skips. Ugh. Can't spew words, man. But it only saves like a room, I think, because you just have to do this one puzzle. So, and the puzzles, nice puzzles, are pretty annoying to actually optimize RTA. But yeah, luckily we just grabbed that key, Ocarina glitch here, and then just skip the boss key. Because normally you'd go into that room on the left there, but we use this key for a different part here. And I don't know if we mentioned it before, but the stairs in this actually raise your height value. So when you are on a lower value, you can actually just walk upstairs and then just walk over the walls, because you won't actually lose height. So you can just go into this room and...
MopeyJoe actually had a really scary moment. I thought I was going to leave the dungeon. With Ocarina glitch is really weird. If you roll, I think, on ice, you'll be permanently stuck with ice physics until you like do a screen transition.
Yeah.
So he went sliding almost out and almost left the entire dungeon. So he had to use the Ocarina glitch.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit of time waste. Yeah, we just used that that key to get in there. So otherwise, we just walk into that room, Ocarina glitch, and head over. Just keep going.
So more lily pad. Thankfully, we're gonna skip most of this lily pad section. There's an interesting thing you can do with that mushroom there. If as you're falling, as the lily pad falls down, if you grab onto the mushroom, you actually pull it back and launch yourself. And it actually, I think, saves like a few frames if you do that. But it's really precise, and if you screw it up, you waste time. So it's like no one goes for it. It's only like a few frames.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure, but it's either like half a second or like a full second almost.
Maybe I can't remember how much time it saves. But I don't
Quote's
think
in
it's...
chat, so he'll answer all our questions.
Yeah. It's really not worth going for it, because you can easily screw it up and waste like 2 or 3 seconds.
But hey man, swag is swag, so...
What's they're important to you, you can go for it or not.
Yeah, so right there, actually, the lily pad in this area has different spawn locations, and if it's moving, it's basically forced to spawn in one of those locations. So coincidentally enough, if you transition off the screen there, it'll just spawn all the way at the top there, and you could just skip a whole ice puzzle in the middle of that room and having to open up a gate to get the lily pad past and get it to that area. So very convenient.
It saves about, I think, 4 or 5 seconds. It saves a quite a bit of time, despite not seemingly saving much time.
Because there is a trick to skip the puzzle too, but that's pretty finicky too. So
Yeah.
either way, it's just a lot easier to do that. Dang, Quo doesn't even know how fast it is. So this section here, it's really easy to just go through this section with the boots here. MopeyJoe just messing up a little bit, but you could just basically damage boost through those enemies. Actually, that's pretty handy though too, is that when you're dashing like that, you're basically invulnerable. I think there are a few different attacks that do stun you, but most of the enemies or different things that damage you won't actually cause knockback while you're dashing, so you can just dash through those traps.
Yeah. It's really precise, but I'm pretty sure you can actually dash in between them and not take any damage, but it's like
Is
impossible
that actually
to
a
do.
thing?
I think it is possible to dash through them and not take damage, but it's pixel perfect, I'm pretty sure.
Sounds broken.
I feel like I've seen it happen before. And here's the mini boss of this dungeon. Looks familiar. It's the green chew from the first dungeon, but electrified, so you have to wait until he's not electrified to get rid of his base, so he can start going back and forth and tip over.
So this is going to be basically the same thing. You just have to wait for electricity. So not too much, not different really. So it's just going to be that. The only real difference is that consistently, well, actually it's not a difference, but it's more of just a preference. You do actually want him to jump 5 times on the last phase for this fight, just because it adds consistency to knowing when the lightning ends, so you don't have to deal with trying to chase him down.
Yeah, they have kind of like opposites of what you want for both of them, and usually you don't get the ones you want from both. So here for being the blue chew, you get the flame lantern, which we'll only be using for the boss of this dungeon and one more time, like at the very end of the game. It's one of the more useless items. I don't think we mentioned this before, but saving and quitting is also slow on the US version than the Japanese version.
Yeah, you have to. What is it? There's something in the
It's
restart.
when you restart the game on US, the little opening animation has to play out before you can skip it. On Japanese, you just immediately skip it and go to the title screen. You have to wait like a couple seconds on the US version.
Mm-hmm.
And after you start the game, Ezlo will talk to you after restarting and starting the game up. He'll tell you like what you've been doing, in case you forgot. And that wastes a total of like maybe 3 seconds each save. I guess we didn't mention the Ocarina glitch he just did. He basically skipped a whole bunch of the...
Oh yeah, that.
we kind of just skipped right over it.
So for that room, the reason why it looked all weird is there's odd layer. The way the layering for those rooms is one room is higher than the other room, but you enter the room at the wrong level completely, because it's supposed to be near the transition where the waterfall is. but one of the rooms next to it is at a completely different level. So when you enter that room there, it's got a bunch of weird sprites on it that you're not supposed to see. So you have to get all the way to a room, and you just have to kind of go around it because it's at the wrong
Yeah, the
height
waterfall
value.
room where you saw the crazy pixels. If you go up from there, you'll go to a completely different room than if you go left, up, and then right. So that's why it seems like there's a weird detour, because you have to, or else you'll go to the wrong room.
So this right here is the best boss in the game. Really, really nice guy. My favorite. I mean, there's no sarcasm whatsoever. I'm totally serious.
Yeah, this is Big Octo. It's
He's like my big brother.
the way this works is he has 3 phases. The first phase, he will always shoot 3 rocks in a row, and you hit those back, and then you can flame his tail, which is deals damage to him. The second phase, he will, I'm pretty sure, always suck you in, throw a rock, suck you in, throw suck you in, throw a rock, and then throw a rock. Then you can burn his tail again. And the third phase is basically completely random and can really screw over your run.
What ends up happening is on the last phase, he'll start shooting ink, and basically, if he doesn't shoot ink, he'll shoot 3 rocks, and if he shoots ink, he'll shoot 1 rock after, and then he'll have RNG between doing the same things over and over. So the worst RNG you can get is 2 ink, because he'll do an ink, shoot a rock, do an ink, shoot a rock, and something like that. I'm not sure why my brain's not mathing that correctly.
He will shoot a rock, then shoot an ink, then he'll shoot rock, then he'll shoot an ink, then he'll shoot another rock. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
Something like that. I don't know, I'm dumb.
And yeah, the worst RNG you can get is a 2 ink, unless you screw it up. If you screw it up, then it can be 3 ink or 4 ink. But theoretically, if you did the fight perfectly, the worst thing is 2 ink.
Yeah.
And it looks like MopeyJoe screwed it up. He got hit by the rock and didn't send it back to him, so he might get a 3 ink here if he gets really unlucky.
What a scrub.
But usually if you miss once, it's still likely you'll still get only a 2 ink. A 3 ink is very unlikely. Even if you screw it up like he did. And yeah, it looks like Mopey got 3 rocks in a row after the 1 ink, so it really didn't lose too much time. So now we're gonna get the water element, and now we're gonna head back to Hyrule Castle and infuse a sword. But now it's gonna be a little different because the king was taken over by Body. We're gonna have to go through the courtyard, which is gonna be patrolled by a bunch of guards. And it's another weird version difference that makes no sense. This is way easier on Japanese and I think European too than it is on the US version. We'll see when we get there.
So this is actually the first time he'll have to go through the guards here. Actually on English. Yeah, he actually has to wait on English here, but on the Japanese version you can basically just run through the guards there as fast as you want, because you don't have to wait for that last guard or any of the other guards to be in the right areas, so you can just blaze through there because they're all blind.
Yeah. For some reason on the US version, I can't remember what the European version is.
I think the European version, they're like faster or something like that. I think it's even harder on the European version, but on the Japanese version, they're super slow and they're really easy to get by.
Yeah. it's one of those weird ones that just does not make sense. This game is weird with version differences. So yeah, he infused the sword with the water element. Now he can split himself into 3 instead of just 2, which he'll need for the next dungeon. And coming up here is the probably biggest single skip in the game. This
is the one we were mentioning earlier.
This is the one where you had to fuse with the one guy in Hyrule Castle Town.
Yeah. So normally you'd have to go to because at the end of the water or Temple of Droplets there, the king basically tells you go to this cemetery so you can get this kinstone piece. You go there, do a whole mini dungeon, and then you go climb up. What is it? I don't even know what the place is. Skytops.
Veil
Falls. You climb up Veil Falls, fuse a kinstone there, and then you have to do a whole Cloud Tops area thing and fuse a bunch of kinstones, and it's pretty slow. And normally you go here to just do a little side quest to get light arrows, but you can do the ocarina glitch here, and you can walk through them, because why not? And
yeah, for some reason the ocarina glitch deloads like all entities, so you can just walk through anything. And it just happens that the only thing blocking your path here is just these entities, so you can just deload them and enter your palace wins immediately.
yeah, because normally all that other side quest stuff leads to that house, but it's a lot slower.
So actually, you can do this immediately after being Fortress of Winds, but coming up right at the beginning of the dungeon, we need the 3 sword because there's a block at the push. So it's very close to being possible we could skip almost all Temple of Droplets, basically. I think there's other reasons why we can't, but this is one block, basically, that's holding us up and right at the beginning of the dungeon.
Yeah, it's this, or in actually doing that one other skip that you can get into the Temple of Droplets with early. There is another block in that dungeon that basically is the only block in the way. So pretty much, we got one stupid block in every area preventing us from doing stuff, because this game doesn't really like to be broken.
I almost feel like the developers knew you could do this somehow and put those blocks there on purpose, because it makes no sense why they're there. There's just these one blocks that stop you from breaking this game like that.
Yeah.
So coming up is a mini boss kind of thing. Let's see if MopeyJoe can get the strat.
Did he throw that? I think he threw that. Normally you actually get a bomb pickup there, but actually he threw that pot or that skull up too early. So he's going to be out of a little bit of bomb, so I think he's going to take this slow.
And it looks like I'm going for the strat. Usually you can use bombs here to get like really quick one-cycle kills on all these guys, but usually people mess it up. It's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, the first 2 phases are pretty easy, but if you mess up the second phase, the third phase is botched, and just getting the third phase alone is kind of hard. But with practice, it's not too bad. And
yeah,
right there, he didn't even jump all the way up, but the way the game does those is it checks just to see if you went through the top of the screen. That's just where the loading zone is. So, yeah. And there, he went for a skip there to skip a room, but he jumped a little too early, so it's faster to actually just reset the, or it's a lot easier to, because you can't see where that platform is unless you actually jump. So he just reset the room there. That's what a lot of us will do, just so we know where the cycle of that platform is, because if you fall down there, it's kind of hard to tell where it is.
I'm not sure how much time to actually save. I think it's like around 45 seconds also.
Yeah.
That little jump there.
It's just a pretty nice little time save. It skipped having to do a whole switch room with a bunch of switches and having to clone.
Yeah.
It's fast, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say Dark Arrow Castle in general is kind of the harder dungeon
Yeah,
to actually learn.
the Palace of Winds can also be like cause a lot of trouble, even though it's basically completely glitchless. It can still cause a lot of trouble. It's usually
This
the
is
Palace of... Oh yeah, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I was just gonna mention something, but
Palace of Winds and uh, Dark Alley Castle are usually considered the hardest dungeon in the game.
yeah. But this is the one room that you need the power bracelets for. But otherwise, if you were able to skip the flippers, you wouldn't need to do any of the other rooms. So you would be able to. That's the only other room you would need the power bracelets for.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, what we kind of saw on the Zelda Chapter's stream is that portal right there that he came out of. It's actually possible to do portal items on that too, and get past that barrier, which skips like a huge part of the dungeon. But the only problem is you also skip getting the boss key, and you need that, so it's useless. If there was a way to skip the boss key, that would actually save quite a bit of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of us are still kind of unsure what really actually happened to Zelda Chapter there.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. So
Yeah, I think that's a feasible story of what happened to Zelda Chapter there.
Here are a few little cloud jumps. You can actually skip on the first set of clouds. You can actually just jump up once and make it. And the second clouds, you don't even have to jump on them at all. But he didn't do that. It's pretty precise.
MopeyJoe didn't even go for it.
Yeah.
Right. So what happened? There's a thing there that we just very recently discovered where if you play the ocarina on the same frame that a certain text cutscenes start, we actually have no idea really which ones actually work. We're still in the midst of finding out which ones are right ones. But if you do freeze the game there to ocarina glitch, if you leave through that upper door and then re-enter, grab the key, and then you can end up just skipping the rest of these rooms and just go around the first room that you enter from that room and just get the key really early. You just go straight to this room from the other side of the room. So it's I think a 40 or 30-second time save. But you only get one chance at it.
Yeah,
if you miss it, then you miss it. So
yeah, it's one try only. So it's really up to you if you want to go for it. And coming up now is the hardest mini boss in the entire game.
where'd it go?
Yeah, you can just knock him off. That's actually an easier way to do that, where you just jump off the top of the platform, and he just stands there like, what happened? Like, where did you go? And you just come by behind and slash him off. It's like really silly how easy that is.
Well, judging by the fact that we have no idea where Zelda Chapter is, I can't count him out, but I'm gonna have to say MopeyJoe might win this. Whoa, MopeyJoe with the strats. I've never actually seen that double bomb strat before.
Yeah. Usually people just slash the second set of 2 switches.
But that actually makes sense because that just if you just double place a bomb, you can pick up one and then. That's
He actually killed 2 Fiats too, which is funny.
Yeah. That's a good way to desalt a little bit. Just kill those damn P-hats because those things are assholes. Yeah, here's another room that coming up with Floor Masters. So hopefully he doesn't get grabbed. I better not jinx it.
You shouldn't have said anything. Why'd you say anything?
Okay, he's good. Yeah, but actually, a safe thing to do there is if you stand in the very, like, in the doorway a little bit before the transition, where you're just not on the transition for the door, but in the doorway, the Floor Masters won't actually be able to grab you because they're on a. I believe they normally are on that higher value, but those doorways actually have like a wall, like they're a wall on that higher value that you can jump down from. Like you'll have seen it earlier in the Fortress of Winds when they actually you didn't get to see it because you didn't get to see the BK skip, but yeah, basically you could just hide from them in there and take it safe, but luckily you didn't get grabbed.
Yeah, sometimes they'll just not be on the horizontally lined up with you, so sometimes you have to just go out and attack them. That's really scary.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, MopeyJoe's just gonna grab a little fairy here to pick up.
I didn't know there was a fairy there.
You didn't? There's a lot of things you don't know. I'm starting to question your skills here.
You wouldn't think I'd be playing this game for 4 years now.
Ooh, dude, the 4.
Just-
Ooh, he did the 4 platform jump. Yeah, that's not a really hard jump, but if you don't have experience with it, it can be a little screwy and you can miss it and waste some time, but he got it there, which was pretty good.
And now coming up is Georg pair, which is
Fun.
usually sometimes nice, sometimes he can be a real jerk and just screw over you completely. We'll see how
Yeah.
MopeyJoe does.
So on these blue Georgs here, you want to just hit the eye, and you can kill it with 1 spin slash, but basically an indicator to tell you that you've beaten it for that phase is the screen will kind of shake, so you can start charging your sword right after that to try to get your clones out as early as possible so you can start slashing the eyes. And usually you don't have to because it usually takes around 2 full rounds of hits each phase to destroy the eyes for that phase, but you usually don't have to fuse again if you don't get hit, so it's usually a good idea, or at least you try your best not to get hit so you don't have to fuse again, because it wastes a little bit of time.
If you do the fusion pattern where there's a space in between you and your clones, you can actually hit any pattern that Georg has, so it really doesn't matter which cloning pair you have. You can hit any of them. So you can just keep them, it doesn't matter what the next pattern is. It's actually possible to do this fight without any clones. But just like really precise, you gotta do like some really precise spin attacks.
So he beat the boss there pretty good. Aside from getting hit a little bit on the in between to reduce having to fuse, but handled it pretty well. It can be, at least for new players, it can be a pretty difficult fight to actually do well, because dodging the blue Georg during the red phases there is a hard thing to get used to sometimes.
And yeah, that's the final element. Now we're gonna go to the final dungeon of the game, Dark Tower Castle, which is really, really broken. We will skip most of it.
It's still difficult for me. I'm sorry, with mask.
So yeah, just the guards again. So coming up is the only break in the run that we talked about earlier. About a minute or so. You just gotta sit back and not do anything for like once.
Alright, yeah, coming up here is the cutscene, so everybody get ready for your bathroom breaks. I'll be back.
So yeah, just the opening of the game again with like an extra panel.
Dang, I'm fast. I made it back in time. Cool. I think I beat my PB there. So yeah, or actually, it's coming up right here. But body's gonna be laying the smack down on you really quick here, and while you're asleep, he's gonna do a makeover on the dungeon, or not the dungeon, but the castle, and make it into a dungeon. So you're gonna actually have to do some stuff here and actually do stuff to get to Zelda.
So coming up is a trick called cutscene walking. We mentioned before with the hurdy-gurdy man and the Kinstone fusion. Basically, yeah, you start a cutscene in the same frame a text box happens. And it looks like MopeyJoe missed it, but you start a cutscene with the text box, same frame, and you can walk around during that cutscene.
Yeah, so you can actually
go ahead.
You can just actually walk around during these during the time that you're normally frozen, watching them unfreeze, and then unfreeze the other guys while you're doing that, so it saves a bit of time. I don't know. You were to say how much it saved. I don't remember exactly.
I don't remember either. It's like probably around 10-15 seconds.
Yeah, it's not like crazy, but it's It's
Yeah.
definitely a time saver.
It's not a huge deal if you miss it. But there's a pretty easy way to just line it up and you get it every time. Looks like Mopey is getting hit by a lot of fire. You don't want to get hit by these, because you have to wait
Yeah.
until it ends to leave the screen. And yeah, right there, you can actually roll into that wall correctly, and you don't have to jump out with the cape, but it's really precise. I don't know how it works. It sometimes works and sometimes doesn't.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so walking through that door, the reason why that works too is because the stairs are basically a cutscene, and it's the reason it's like that's what causes the ocarina state is you're stuck in a cutscene state, whatever. But because you're in that cutscene, it'll just force you to play through that cutscene, and then it completely ignores the collision of the door there with the key, so you can just walk right through it.
And if you notice, he left the dungeon and came back in. He does that to, because later we're going to be saving and quitting. And if he didn't do that, he would start back at the shrine where you infuse a sword. So he did that, so next time he saves and quits, he'll start right there at the entrance to the dungeon. Because if he started back at the shrine, he'd have to do the Ocarina glitch all over again.
Got smacked by that trap.
Yeah, this little section can be a real pain.
Yeah, if you're not fast enough, or you go into the room at the wrong time, and you don't get if you don't get your splits, or you don't split at the right time, then that trap can get in your way and either waste your time or actually hit you. So he's going to be using Ocarina glitch again here to start going all over the dungeon. Now that we've gotten the first key, basically we want to get 3 more keys to ultimately unlock the big key, so we can fight a boss again. But yeah, he's just going to be going around to these. There's supposed to be 4 different towers, but we don't go to the last one because we can get the one that he just first grabbed. He can grab that one easier, so we just get that one. And yeah, he's just going to be saving quitting after this one. But the second one here, he won't save and quit until a bit later, because he has to. He's going to be going to the same area for 2 of them, so he won't save and quit after the first one he grabs in this next area that he goes to.
He's been getting pretty good Ocarina glitches so far.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want practice with Ocarina glitches, you can mess it up, and the worst way to mess it up really is to go up the stairs, because you have to watch the whole walk up the stairs animation and then walk back down. But if you just play it too early, you just play the Ocarina and then you just try to do it again.
And coming up is the last Ocarina glitch here shortly.
Yeah.
This is, I think, like the biggest one. It will let you kind of go
Yeah.
through the dungeon almost backwards.
Yeah, because you're normally supposed to kind of get to these areas from the area that you're going to. So if you line up there properly and jump through the transition of the screen, you'll be on the right certain pixels. You'll basically have to be lodged into the frame of the doors to be able to get through the other side of those doors. So he's going to be lining up here again, so you can hopefully get through. Yeah, so he got it there, and now he's going to just jump through the door, because normally you can't even if you're on Ocarina Glitch, unlike the stairs where you walk to the door, there's no real animation that's forcing you to do anything, so you can't go through those unless you clip through them. And because you're in the Ocarina Glitch state here, there's really no way to get through those flippers. It'll try to keep you on the same area, but if you roll, it'll keep you on. You'll jump through and it'll put you down a layer, but then it'll bring you back up because you're not really supposed to be. It doesn't know what to do. But if you roll, it'll keep you on that layer. But because there's a void pretty much in every direction, you have to land on that platform that's moving below, so you have to either wait for it. But if you go to that room in a certain pattern, you can go through it pretty fast and meet it on like the very end of its cycle, and then get back to the middle of the room and proceed. And here he's just gonna. These are the 4 keys that we need. He's just gonna pick up a couple hearts, and then. Because that's actually an easy area to pick up hearts right before the boss, because you can just refresh the room. Yeah, he's gonna just do a double dark nut fight here real quick, and then proceed and get the last key before he gets the big key. And there are certain ways to manipulate the dark nuts in these rooms, but some of the strats are a little weird, and if you don't know them, you just kind of have to revert to more not optimized strats, but more RNG reactive strats. It's like if you jump with the cape at an angle over them, you can react to whatever RNG they are, and you force them basically to do an action which makes them vulnerable. So that's what we usually use on the last triple dark nut fight at the end here. So yeah, he's just gonna save and quit here finally and head back to the front of the dungeon where there's the portals, and then just quickly get back to where the big key is and finally grab that. There is a way to going through these next couple rooms. We're gonna have to do a couple different little trials or whatever. And during the triple dark nut fight, there's the black dark nut in the middle. You can manipulate him to charge at you on the very beginning, so you can just kill him immediately. That guy you always just jump over. He's super free. He's garbage at this game. But every time you reset the game, your RNG is always the same value. Like it'll always reset to the same value. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but well, it's not going to be the same value. But in a speed run, you'll have the same value every run. It's going to be the same one if you restart at that same spot. But you can basically get the right value and then do certain rolls that always do the same different RNG value changes to actually get the right RNG to make him charge at you. So it makes this fight a lot faster. But if you have really good manipulation with the jumps here, you can go through this fight pretty fast. So yeah, finally we're gonna fight Vadi. He's been wussing out and avoiding us for pretty much the whole game, but we basically forced him to have to fight us because we're putting a threat to his plans and whatnot. And this first phase of Vadi is he's going to be spinning these eyes around, and once you kill them all, his middle eye opens up and yada yada. But after, it's not going to be this one. He's going a little early there, but the eyes after the first after 4 eyes appear around him. The next phase, if you get enough hits, which is not very hard, but next phase, they'll be surrounded by those dark spheres that he sucked in, and you have to wait for them to spin around and grab them. But if you just start using the gust jar early, you can just suck them all up at once, pretty much, while they're spawning, while they're moving outwards from Vadi. So it's a pretty easy way to get rid of them pretty quickly. Like, yeah, right now he has to get rid of them manually. And there's a fairy there in I think every version but the European version. So that's a pretty nice fairy to have. So yeah, make pretty quick work of that. I think that was the optimal amount of phases for each. So that looked pretty good. Next year's Vadi 2. This is pretty much all reaction based and experience boss fight. The only thing that's really consistent is he'll always have the first 4 eyes there, like that, on the first phase, and his second phase will always have them on the side. Either it's going to be on one of the sides, but always a side. And then after that, it just never repeats the same one from before, so you just kind of have to react. But also, there's a weird kind of bad hitbox thing with this, where if you fuse, I think it's in the counterclockwise direction, where you start on one side and then go counterclockwise in the fusing direction. You should always be able to hit his eyes like no problem, like you're intended to. But if you fuse in the clockwise direction, his eyes sometimes just don't get hit by all the links, and you kind of have to spend a little bit of time trying to finick around trying to hit them. It's just really finicky, and it's really weird and annoying. So usually you want to just fuse in the counterclockwise direction. For Minish Cap, an average time I would say is about 210. So MopeyJoe's doing pretty good here. He's, I think, on PV pace, I believe. Somebody said earlier that he did a run earlier and it was like a 116 or something. And this is looking close to 113 or 213. I don't know. If I said 116 or 210 or 110, then I meant 210. Anything that's close to 2 hours is really good. Anything under 2 hours is pretty good. There's only, I think, 9 people that have under 2 hour time, so it's pretty good. Yeah, 210 is average, but on a good run is considered under 2 hours, but a decent run or just a marathon safe run is around 210. And yeah, so MopeyJoe didn't really have too much of a problem with Vadi 2. You'll just usually get it done in 4 phases. The only real time loss is just if you accidentally don't get enough hits in, or you just have a little bit sloppy reactions to where he's moving and whatnot. That's a really easy fairy to... There's like 4 fairies, I think, in that room. And if not, you can just leave and re-enter. So you should never die on this fight here. So yeah, coming up here, you just want to get to the portal here and just wait on the portal, because you're invulnerable on the portal, and you just want to wait for him to throw his arm down, and then you want to try and hit the arm. and you get back on the portal and do the things that he's doing. Basically, it's usually not once you. The hardest part about this casually for this fight is figuring out that you actually have to use the cane on the arms. Like pretty much nobody knows that, and that's why nobody ever gets past this fight because they sit around trying to figure out what to do and then end up dying. So yeah, he's just gonna sit on the portal here. He actually got pretty fast dive from the arm, so he's just gonna be able to hop right back off. And after this, what he's gonna be doing, or hopefully be doing, for Vadi is he's gonna want to fuse as fast as he can. He's want to get on the portal and unshrink and start charging his sword and fuse, or I always say fuse, but split up and clone himself like as fast as he can. And basically he wants to stand in front of Vadi like as fast as possible to stop him from doing that lightning right there. But if you don't, it's not too bad. But basically after that you want to basically do the same thing, is fuse as fast as you can and fuse or whatever, split up. But basically you want to stand in front of him to force him to do that reflection thing that he does there, so you can actually damage him, because the lightning balls do absolutely nothing for you. So yeah, he's just gonna kind of track Body's position, and hopefully this should be the last hit. So yeah, there goes MopeyJoe. That was a pretty good run. I'm pretty sure that's the PB for him, I believe, which is nice. That's a thought I saw it was 2:16 or 2:14 or something like that. So that's almost a 2-minute time save, I think. But yeah, that was a pretty good run from Mopey there. We still have no idea what happened to Zelda Chapter. His internet went down maybe or something from around middle of the run. So hopefully we'll get a response from him soon, or his stream will come back up. I'm just not really sure what they're gonna decide. Maybe he forfeit or not. I don't know. But we'll just wait for him a little bit to see what the decision is on whether we'll continue this or not for him. I believe in you, MopeyJoe. You can do it.